All right, so I made a video yesterday analyzing Pinecreek's interview of Gary Habermas. There were some mild criticisms on there of his methodology that I thought were completely fair. And lo and behold, Pinecreek responded today. So, hallelujah. Let's respond to his response. Now, you said to me today that I only think you are authentic with politics because I agree with you on politics. First of all, it's not necessarily true. Paulogia also commented on the video, but his comment was like, I haven't watched the video, but I basically dismiss it. I'm really dismissive of it without having watched it. Something like that. Maybe I was being too sensitive, but that's how it struck me, JB. Is like, I dismiss this out of hand even though I haven't watched it, which isn't cool. Maybe I'm being oversensitive. It's possible. I'm a very sensitive person, but that's how I took that comment. I took it as haughty and dismissive of something that he wasn't even going to bother to watch, which is not good. Not good at all. I treat him with much more respect than that, and I would expect it in return. So I was a little surprised at that. Again, I could be being oversensitive. Doug, over the course of 2 years ago, I accused you of having none integrity. Now I have upgraded that because you have some integrity. I have seen you have some authentic interactions with Christians, okay? You had Rebecca on your channel recently. You seem to genuinely like Rebecca. So there was some honest give and take there. Maybe you went into your Doug plays. I'm not sure if I watched the whole thing. I don't remember. Sometimes your Doug plays are relatively benign and harmless. The reason why I said you are more honest with politics, when you had notes from Autumn on, okay, your process is a lot more honest. You put your cards on the table and you challenged her directly. You did not, at least in the part I watched. You know, if you did, I didn't see it. In the part I watched, you did not go, you're a liberal Democrat. Here, let me ask you questions about liberal Democrats to show you how you're wrong, which is what you do to Christians routinely. Now, if you want me to hold you to a standard of absolute integrity, you have some integrity. I can hold you to a standard of absolute integrity. If you will not accept mild criticisms, okay, here's a little bit more pointed criticism. Here you go. Here, have some more criticisms. Have some that are a little bit more pointed. Now, in the same video that you said, I only think you have integrity with politics because I agree with you. First of all, I don't necessarily agree with you. You seem to think open carry laws are a good idea. No, I do not think that. I'm not sure if that's a good idea. I think that you honestly believe it. In the same video, I pointed out, I do this a lot. This is why I do this, guys. If you're a Christian, you should pay attention. Why? Because I think I really honestly know what I'm doing. Same video, and I point them out time and time again. We have the Answers from Reason crew. We have Luke, Dave Rollins, and Joe. What's your name? Joe. Joe. What's your name? Joe. Joe is my name. Chris. Craig. Oh, okay. Joe's my name. Chris. Craig. Okay. Those guys have absolute integrity. Absolute integrity, and they're atheists. I don't agree with them on anything. I was streaming on their channel the other day, and they were talking about zombie films. So I didn't agree with them on anything. They were wrong about every single film they brought up. Horror films, zombie films. So what'd you do, Craig? I destroyed them. Luke is like, Big Solo is the greatest movie I've ever seen. I destroyed him. It's what I do. I destroyed them. No, they have absolute integrity. Now, if you think I'm overpraising them by saying they have absolute integrity ain't all that hard. I can hold each and every person, atheist listening to me, to a standard of absolute integrity. I promise. It's not that hard. Why do they're just like my college friends. Matter of fact, they're virtually identical to my college friends. It's probably why I get along with them. If this were 1992, they'd be at my band. You'd see me play with Underground Zen, and they'd be drunk off their ass going like, yeah, play the Clash. And we'd go back to my house, and we'd stay up till 3 in the morning, listen to like Clash, Nirvana, Public Enemy. They're exactly like my college friends. That's why I get along with them. But they have absolute integrity. Unless you think that standard is too high, this is what absolute integrity is. It's not all that high of a standard. They're all exactly who they seem to be, 100% authentically who they seem to be, and they have honest responses to things. Wow, rocket science, Craig. Yeah, rocket science. They never, ever, 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 ever try to score fake points for atheism. Never try to score points for atheism at all. Like I said, I was on the chat with them the other day. We were talking about zombie films. They never once, pick up a sword and start going, why do you believe this, Craig? Let me show you why you're wrong. Okay, you do that a lot, Pinecreek, to this day. The standard of absolute integrity is this. Be authentically who you are. You don't believe in God. Okay, I accept that. And apparently you're center right. I accept that too. And then have honest conversations. With Christians, a lot of times you rig the conversation. You do this a lot. Still to this day. You shouldn't be doing this at all. The standard of absolute integrity ain't all that high. Do not have conversations where you preload it to get a result. In other words, when I was talking to you, when I've been inquired of by you 3 times, okay, keep in mind, the religious experience that I had was possibly the most powerful transformational experience of my entire life. It authentically changed the entire direction of who I am and what I do. And my religious experiences since have been possibly the most powerful, personally transformational experience of my entire life. You did not ask me a single honest question about them. Not a single solitary honest question at all. That should bother you. Bothered me. It should bother you. Should bother you, Paul. By way of it should bother you a lot, Paul. By way of comparison, I had Paulogia on my channel, who told me his entire deconversion story in detail. Okay, the only thing I did was ask honest questions. The only thing I did. I didn't ask any leading questions. I didn't ask him questions to produce any result. I just asked him questions and listened to the answers. If you want me to hold you to the standard of absolute integrity, I can really easily, and if you demand that I will, I will. It's really easy. In absolute integrity land, you only ask a question for one reason, because you want to know something. You often ask questions because you want to show something. That is a tactic. That is not an honest conversation. That is a tactic. I get that you don't believe in God. I get that you don't think a resurrection is possible. It's fine. I accept that. Like I said, the Answers from Reason crew don't believe in God either. They're crazy, Craig. They're gonna burn it. They don't believe in God either. Their opinions on zombie movies are way worse. Don't even get me started on their zombie movies opinion. Why? Because they're dismal. Like I said, I destroyed them. I destroyed them on that. Okay. An honest question. When Paul G was on my channel, I didn't ask a single leading question. Not a single solitary one. I honestly asked him. So let's also parse this out. I wanted to get this out there. Of the content creator video makers, okay, that's a standard like Prophet of Zod, Vice Rhino, all those guys who put out content. The 2 most honest ones, probably by a lot, are Paulogia and Drew. Both of them went on my channel. I asked Paulogia about his deconversion story in detail, and as far as I'm concerned, he told me nothing but the God's honest truth. Everything he told me was 100% authentic and rang true to me. And I did not ask him a single leading question, Doug, not a single solitary one, ever. I didn't lead him towards, don't you see how God actually does exist? You're not so far from integrity that you can't understand that you do that a lot. You do that frequently and you do it often. You ask leading questions. I'm not the only one who's ever said this. Trent Horn, for example, is accusing you of bad faith 2 days ago. Trent Horn, that should bother you. Why? Because Trent Horn is really credible. You can write me off, yeah, rinky-dink little channels. You shout all the time, it sucks. I understand that. you got this rinky-dink little channel, Greg, where you shout all the time, it really sucks. Okay, I perfectly accept that. So you can write me off, sort of, but Trent Horn is actually really credible. He's been on debate stages with, important people in the atheist community. And he's accusing you of bad faith. That should bother you. That should bother you. It should bother you, Paulogia. Honestly, it should. It should. I can hold you guys to a standard of absolute integrity if you insist that I do it. I really honestly can. Yes, I have a rinky-dink little channel. Yes, I shout all the time, and my channel is borderline ridiculous. I perfectly accept that. Did I say that part out loud? Yeah, I did. Okay, I perfectly accept that. I perfectly understand that. But on my rinky-dink little channel, okay, first, Anthony Magnabosco has watched some of my videos. He's commented, so I know he's been there. I've had Seth Andrews on my channel. What does that mean? That means I have that's the entire atheist community. I have that kind of reach with my rinky-dink little channel. I am too big to fail. I really am. I'm too big to fail. I swear to God. I'm too big to fail. My rinky-dink little channel hasn't even broken 600 subscribers. It's too big to fail, guys. It's not that big of a community. I can hold each and every atheist listening to me to a standard of absolute integrity if you insist that I do. Now, I'm not insisting that you have absolute integrity, Doug. I'm really not. I'm fine with where you're at now. You sometimes are Pinecreeky. Pinecreeky means you're being dishonest and trying to score plays. Okay? That should bother you. Ultimately, you should stop doing that altogether. Why? Because if you honestly don't believe that God exists, you can have just an honest conversation. There's no reason for you to use tactics at all, ever. The Answers from Reason crew do not use tactics at all, ever. Why? They don't have to. They honestly believe that God does not exist. Okay? Prior to them, I would have said the most committed to atheism as true, the person who believed it the most, the strongest person with the atheist position, I would have said Drew, based on his behavior. His behavior is really not defensive at all. He never gets in people's faces. He never asks leading questions. He never challenges other people's beliefs. Those are all tactics are the behavior of someone who isn't really convinced of their position. Now, I get that you really honestly don't believe in the resurrection. I'm pretty sure of that. Okay, yeah, you probably don't believe. I don't believe in the resurrection, Greg. Okay, fine, I understand that. I really don't. Okay, I get that. But as for the rest of it, if you really honestly believe that God does not exist, put your sword down. Have honest conversations. Put your sword down all the time. Have honest conversations all the time. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard to have absolute integrity. I swear to God it's not. With Drew, I had 2 long conversations with him. All I did was ask him honest questions and listen to his answers. All I did. That's the standard of absolute integrity. I did not try to impress upon him the fact that God exists at all. I think personally, I think that's a lot more powerful as a witnessing tool, or whatever you want to call it, what was it I'm doing again? what am I doing? Wait, shouting, whatever. As a witness to the gospel? I don't know. What do you say? Evangelical tool, I guess? I don't know. Personally, I think that's a lot more powerful. Someone walks away from an encounter where they feel listened to, heard, and I guess validated. I wasn't really trying to validate him. It seems kind of gay, but, I guess validated, but listened to and heard. They're at least going to respect you. So, it wouldn't surprise me if I have some influence and pull over Drew. I expected to have some over Paulogia, but it seems I have less than I thought I would have had. But as it stands, again, I've said this 1,000 times a day. At the end of the day, 5 years from now, the only people left standing in the space are going to be the philosophical atheists and all the people who have learned from them and become more like them. There's a bunch of honest atheists. Objectively, Dan is honest. Drew is honest. Paulogia is sometimes honest. Starting to get a little bit too, you dismissed a video that you didn't even watch in a way that was kind of haughty, and, if somebody did that to you, it'd be an international incident. I swear to God, if Kevin Bartuzzi had done that to him, 50 atheists would have the tweet pinned and be like, look at Kevin Bartuzzi. He does it to me, nobody notices. Okay, fine. I'm the persecuted church. What do you want? He persecuted me. I understand it's not that big of a deal. All right, fine. It's not that big of a deal. Let it go. All right, fine. Not that big of a deal. Only thing I'm trying to point out is there are honest atheists out there. I credit them with integrity. Why? Really simple and easy. They have it. That's why I credit with them integrity. I credit you with some integrity. I credit you with some human decency and some integrity and some honest, wrestling with things and really grappling with things. I think you're far more honest in politics. Just your process, not the conclusions, just the process. With Christianity, you are pre-supper, Doug. The reason why you didn't ask me a single honest question about the most personally transformational experience of my entire life is because you had decided 3 years before you ever met me that there's no way it could be God. So you were asking me questions to try to demonstrate to me and show me there's no way it can be God. I get that's what you believe, but that process is not honest. Do you understand that? I perfectly understand that you're capable of understanding that clearly. And any atheist listening to me, you are perfectly capable of hearing that completely clearly. That was absolutely crystal clear. He decided 3 years before he ever met me that there's no way it could have been God. So he wasn't really listening to me. He was just trying to lead me, to show me, Craig, there's no way there can be God. I perfectly understand that that's what he believes. I am perfectly cool with that. Again, I can't stress this enough. I don't care what any of you believe about anything at all. The reason why I like the Answers from Reason crew is not because they're atheists or because they're not atheists, because they're exactly like my college friends. They're the exact same type of guys. Swear to God, if it was 1992, they'd be at my bar, drunk off their ass, singing Clash songs and like hanging out with me till 3 in the morning. That's what it seems like. They seem like the exact same. I think Joe was drunk, on the stream that I was. I'm pretty sure, Joe, you were lit, right? I'm pretty sure you were drunk on the stream. They're alcoholics, Greg. Okay, maybe they got some issues in that department. So did we, me and my friends. That's what people used to call us, elitist alcoholics. I swear to God. But they were a fun crew and they were completely honest. Complete honesty is not all that hard to achieve. It's really not. You just be authentically who you are, and you have authentically honest responses to things. Most of your content creator atheists do not have honest responses to Christianity at all. They're always trying to score fake points, period. That's why the videos are irrelevant. That's why at the end of the day, the only ones left standing up are the philosophical atheists. Why? Because the content creator videos are totally irrelevant. Don't even bother watching them. Why? Because all they're doing is scoring fake points. That's why they always talk about the Old Testament, this and that. Why? It's easy to score fake points against the Old Testament. It's also worthless, useless. So everything you are doing is in public. Every minute of every video you put out, you can be held accountable for. Every minute of every tweet, Stephanie. Stop, Greg. Every minute of every tweet, Stephanie. I'm not tweeting. I'm not saying controversial stuff. I stopped tweeting controversial stuff about atheists a long time ago. Okay, well, just now that you're not private, don't do it anymore. I understand, Greg. I'm not going to do it. I learned my lesson. Don't, because this is the era where you can be deplatformed or whatever they call it. So be careful what you tweet, Stephanie. Okay, I understand. Thank you. Good girl. Every minute of every video you put out, Doug, is in public, and this isn't that big of a space. So I can hold you accountable to all of it. I'm not paying attention. Why? Because you're pretty honest. You're somewhat honest. You're doing okay now. You have some honest conversations. You should have all honest conversations. You should put your sword down completely. I dare you. I dare you. Just talk to Christians. I dare you. Just act. It's really easy to do. Just think this person is an authentic human being just like me. This person is a human being just like myself. And I'm sure if I knew a lot about them, I'd really like them. And just have a normal conversation with them. It wasn't rocket science. The reason why I asked Drew questions is because I treat him like what? A normal human being. It's a normal human being and ask him questions. That's it. It's not that hard. Put the sword down altogether, and then I'll credit you with absolute integrity and promise. You've changed. You've grown up a little. You're better. You're way better than you were 2 years ago. I don't necessarily take credit for that, but you are. 2 years ago, your videos were like all scoring fake points, corruption. Your audience applauds that, Doug. That's. I don't necessarily blame you. I blame the audience, right? Because they're freaking idiots. You guys are idiots. You guys are a pack of idiots. Swear to God, you're a pack of idiots. Freaking blind, freaking blind, and I don't know. Don't even get me started on that. All right, so there you have it. That's my response to the response. All water under the bridge. No hard feelings. Your line of reason, your line of inquiry with him was fine. My critique of the straw man or the flying man is valid. It's not that great of an argument. You think it's that great? Put it out as a standalone video. Then you'll see. Everyone will take shots at it. Some will be cheap shots and some will be valid criticisms. If you think it's that great a slam dunk against the resurrection, put it out as a standalone video or write it down on a piece of paper, put it out there. Why? Because then everyone can take shots at it. That's what you do when you think something's a slam dunk. You put it out there. You don't hold it in your back pocket so you can spring it on a Christian. You put it out there. It's not as good as you think it is. I think you know that. Why? Because it would already be out there if you thought it was a slam dunk. Can't hide, Doug. You can't hide. You really can't. Everything that we are doing is in public. Every minute of everything you can be held accountable for. You cannot hide here. It's not that big of a space. So, you're doing fine. Just bring more integrity to the table. And if you don't want to have a standard of absolute integrity, it's fine with me. Don't come back and defend yourself. Just listen, learn, and, change a little. That's all. Become a little bit more like the Answers from Reason crew. And every atheist listening to me, okay? Answers from Reason. Go watch their videos. Luke, go watch his video on death. I bet you $1,000 it's 100% honest. I bet you $1,000 it's 100% honest. And insightful. Why? Because that's what he does. That's what he does. He has honest responses to things. Go watch them. That type of atheism is going to stay around for the long haul. It's going to last. This content creator, the type that started in this space that only go after fundamentalist Christians, you guys are just as intellectually lazy as the fundamentalist Christians. Did I say that out loud? Yes, I did. You guys are just as intellectually lazy and just as unconcerned with the truth as the fundamentalist Christians you so despise. That's why people call you fundy atheists. Why? Because you are. You are just like them. You have not changed. You left their tribe and you practice the same practices. You cannot be trusted to speak honestly. You are every bit as intellectually lazy and almost as dishonest as the fundamentalist Christians you so despise. Promise. If you're listening to me, that should bother you. Go watch Joe Answers from Reason. Go watch their videos. Why? Because they're doing it correctly. And, you know, a lot of people can't handle real atheology because it's too philosophical. You guys are making two arguments and going over everyone's head. Ben is honest too. Pinecreek, you want a way of difference? Okay, here's the difference. A lot of Christians have accused you of bad faith. Not everybody, but a lot. I don't think a single solitary Christian has ever accused Ben Watkins of bad faith. I'd be really surprised. And I'm pretty sure not a single solitary Christian has ever accused the Answers from Reason crew of bad faith. So nobody has accused them of bad faith. A lot of Christians have accused you of bad faith. You know, do better. Have absolute integrity from now on. You know, I'm not going to hold you to it. You're doing fine. Like I said, I'm okay with where you're at. You've grown. You have grown. You have grown. Although our life is so special, let's take a chance and fly away somewhere. Who knows? I don't even know why that came up. Well, does anybody remember what song that was? John Lennon, I think. And when I see you, Pinecreek, it's like we both have fallen in love. Oh, let's start it over, Pinecreek. Let's start this whole thing over. Go debate Trent. Or let him ask you questions. Let him ask you the challenging gotcha questions. See how you like it. Let's start the whole thing over, Pinecreek. And when I see you, Pinecreek, it's like we both have fallen in love again. It'll be just like starting over. Start this whole thing over, Pinecreek. You can do it. You can do it. I have faith in you. I have trust in your character. You're doing it right sometimes. Do it right all the times. And you and I will be nothing but good friends from now until the end of time. Just like JB. Be like JB. JB's fun. Be like JB. JB's fun. So, there you have it, kids. Little long-winded, little ranty, but I think really deeply insightful. If I do say so myself, I think it's a really good video. I really honestly do. I swear to God, I think some of this stuff that comes out of my mouth is pure gold. I honestly believe that. And I think people will start to recognize that soon, and then watch the F out, because this thing gonna fly. This thing gonna fly. All right, I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet from now on. I Am Legend is a better movie than you think it is, Joe. Why? Because if you actually have been to Manhattan, I grew up right outside Manhattan, been there, go there all the time, stay there for weeks on end. It's really kind of eerie, him driving around empty Manhattan, and then you have these freaky, like, talking about I Am Legend, anybody see it? It's a better movie than you think, Joe. I'm destroying Joe, he has an opinion on it, I'm destroying him. And then those freaky, like, vampire type, I guess they're zombies or whatever, the plague victims. Seeing them run through Washington Square Park at night when they figure out where he lives. Oh man, it's really unsettling if you see it in the movie theater and you know those neighborhoods. It really freaks you out. So I liked it. Maybe it's not the best if you see it on a small screen. You know, I could be overrating it just because it's personal. But Luke and I talked about that. 28 Days Later is a really cool zombie flick. I like the follow-up pretty much too. 28 weeks later or something? Weeks. I think it's the same amount. I like the follow-up. Thought it was pretty cool. It was exciting. So yeah, zombie flicks. The Girl with All the Gifts. And if you see that, I really thought it was interesting. Cool movie. Check that one out. And then that's that. Midsommar. Everyone was telling me it was going to be the greatest thing I'd ever seen in my life. It was really good up until a point, and then it started losing me. I forget why or where. So you're wrong on that, Luke. Sorry to say. I apologize. Apologize. It's what I do. I destroy them. It's what I do, guys. It's what I do. I destroy. So there you have it, kids. I'll wrap up this video and be quiet. That is all for now. Mass is ended. Go in peace. Amen.